The corridor of Ridgeway High School was always buzzing with energy, laughter, gossip, and the occasional chaos that came from hundreds of teenagers squeezed into one building. On that chilly Monday morning, the air smelled of fresh floor polish mixed with the faint scent of cafeteria pancakes. Students in hoodies and backpacks shuffled in, laughing and bumping shoulders, already plotting how to survive the long day ahead. But among the usual rhythm of the school, something different was brewing, something that would soon shake the hallways forever. Miss Alina Carter, only 23 years old, adjusted her glasses as she carried a stack of math textbooks to her new classroom. Her heart thumped nervously in her chest. It was her very first day as a full-time math teacher. Fresh out of graduate school, passionate, intelligent, and kind, Alina believed in teaching not just numbers but confidence, discipline, and respect. She wanted her students to see math not as a punishment, but as a skill, a tool they could use for the rest of their lives. But while Alina's sharp mind and kind nature made her an excellent teacher, her youthful appearance was both a blessing and a curse. To the administration, she was a promising new educator. To the students, however, she looked more like one of them than a figure of authority. Her small frame, soft voice, and gentle demeanor did not exactly scream intimidating. And in a place where teenagers could sense weakness like sharks sensing blood, it was only a matter of time before trouble started. As Alina placed the textbooks on her desk, she overheard whispers outside the classroom. "Yo, that's the new math teacher," a tall boy with a football jacket muttered to his friends. His name was Ryan Doyle, captain of the Ridgeway High football team, known as much for his strength on the field as his cruelty off of it. Ryan thrived on intimidation, and nothing entertained him more than mocking teachers he thought were pushovers. "Man, she looks like a student herself," another voice laughed. This one belonged to Jason, Ryan's right-hand man, equally arrogant but not nearly as smart. A third boy, thinner but with a permanent smirk plastered on his face, added, "Bet she won't last a month." That was Eric, the one who always fueled the fire without ever facing consequences. Alina took a deep breath, telling herself she wouldn't let the whispers get to her. She had faced harder challenges in life. What these boys didn't know was that behind her soft smile and gentle voice was a lifetime of discipline. Since childhood, Alina had trained in martial arts, specifically Judo. She had earned her black belt at just 19, but she had never flaunted it, never used it as a weapon of pride. To her, Judo was about respect, control, and only using power when absolutely necessary. Still, the thought of these boys underestimating her brought a quiet fire into her chest. Class began, and Alina taught with enthusiasm. Most of the students were intrigued by her energy. She used real-life examples to explain equations, even throwing in humor. Slowly, she won some of them over. But Ryan and his gang, they didn't listen to a single word. They leaned back in their chairs, whispering and laughing, tossing paper balls when her back was turned. Alina corrected them politely but firmly, not giving them the reaction they wanted. That only made them bolder. By lunch break, the boys were already plotting. "She thinks she can just ignore us." "Nah, man. We're not letting some rookie teacher walk in here acting all confident," Ryan sneered. "Yeah," Jason grinned. "Let's give her a real Ridgeway welcome." The trap was set. When the final bell rang and students filled the hallways, Alina stepped out of her classroom, gathering papers. The crowd of teenagers pushed through the corridor like a river. Ryan and his friends waited near the lockers, watching. When Alina passed, Jason suddenly shoved her shoulder, hard. The textbooks she carried spilled onto the floor. Laughter erupted. "Oh no, so sorry, miss." Jason mocked, his fake apology dripping with sarcasm. "Careful, teacher," Ryan smirked. "These hallways can be rough. You never know who might bump into you." Alina bent to pick up her books, her hands trembling slightly. Not from fear, but from restraint. She knew she could flip Jason over her shoulder in one swift motion. She knew she could have Ryan pinned against the floor in seconds. But she was a teacher, and teachers couldn't lose control. The humiliation stung, but she swallowed it. For days, the bullying continued. They shoved her into lockers. They made cruel jokes during class. They mocked her handwriting, her clothes, even her voice. Other students watched in silence, some snickering, some feeling sorry but too scared to intervene. Alina remained calm, reminding herself of her purpose, to teach, not to fight. But one Friday afternoon, everything changed. It was after school, the hallways quieter than usual. Alina carried her laptop bag, heading toward the exit. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. Before she could turn, Ryan and his gang cornered her near the row of lockers. Well, Ryan grinned. Look who's all alone. Bet she's scared, Jason taunted. Eric chuckled, pulling out his phone. This is gonna be hilarious. And then it happened. Ryan shoved her hard, slamming her back against the lockers. The sound echoed through the empty hallway. Alina's breath caught, and for a split second, her glasses nearly slid off her face. The boys laughed, high-fiving each other. But they didn't know. They didn't realize that line had just been crossed. Elena's patience had been tested long enough. She slowly set her bag on the floor. Her glasses caught the reflection of the flickering fluorescent lights as she straightened. And then, for the first time, she looked Ryan directly in the eyes, not as a teacher, but as something far more dangerous. Are you boys done? Her voice was calm, steady, almost chilling. The laughter faltered. Ryan raised an eyebrow, trying to mask the sudden unease creeping up his spine. Or do you need a lesson of a different kind? Elena added, her tone sharper now. Jason scoffed, stepping forward to shove her again, but before his hand even touched her, Elena moved. In one smooth motion, she caught his wrist, twisted, and flipped him over her shoulder. Jason hit the ground with a thud, the air rushing out of his lungs. Gasps echoed down the hall from a few lingering students who had stopped to watch. What the? Eric shouted, his phone still recording. Ryan lunged forward in rage, but Elena sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and swept his legs out from under him with precision. He crashed into the lockers, clutching his ribs, groaning in shock. Eric hesitated, but anger made him reckless. He charged, aiming to tackle her, but Elena pivoted, using his own momentum against him. With a fluid judo throw, she sent him flying onto the floor beside his friends. The hallway was dead silent except for the groans of the so-called kings of the school. Students whispered, their eyes wide. The young teacher they thought was fragile had just dismantled 3 bullies like they were nothing. Elena straightened her blouse, adjusted her glasses, and picked up her bag. She looked down at the boys, her voice steady and cold. Class dismissed. Then she walked away, leaving the hallway buzzing with shock. That night, the entire school exploded with rumors. The video Eric had been recording spread like wildfire. Students shared it in group chats, on social media, everywhere. By morning, Ridgeway High had a new legend, the young math teacher who sent the bullies flying. And this was only the beginning.